Okay, what's up? So, at last, I'm doing the reading for you. I got you. Anyways, this is what I see and this is what I know. I was looking at your chart, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of deciphering it and decoding it. And the most interesting thing, like the first thing that caught my attention was your Sun Uranus opposition. You know what I'm saying? You have your Sun in Cancer at 11 degrees, and then you have Uranus in Capricorn at 11 degrees. So let me get technical and use practical words to explain this. The Sun, right, signifies individuality. It signifies the ego. It signifies self-identification. It signifies significance in general. And it's the planet of power. It's the star, the fixed star of power. You know what I'm saying? So the Sun is our ego, right? When you think of the Sun, I want you to think of gold. Like, this is the aspect of us that can't be tarnished. Like, because gold is one of those metals, right, that isn't tarnished. You know what I'm saying? It just bees as it is. So with that being said, it's important to understand that, what was I going to say? That, hold on, give me a sec, I kinda, okay, that's what I was gonna say. So, our Sun is something that we can't truly escape, but it's something that we should try to work with, you know what I'm saying? I kind of want to share, like, you know those stories of, like, the princess who gets saved by a prince, from a dragon. Alright, so this is an allegory, right, that points, like, the princess is the moon, right, the soul. The prince is the ego, right, the sun. And then the dragon is Saturn, right? Dragons typically signify material difficulties, right? That's why they're integrated with the elements, and typically dragons come through and they are reptilian-like, you know what I'm saying? Because the reptilian energy is very much synonymous with material energy. So, yeah, the way that astrology works is you're supposed to use your sun to save your moon from the expressions of your Saturn, right? Because Saturn is the planet of restriction, limitation, trial, and tribulation. So I feel like I'm one of the only, because I practice, like, I'm not a Christian, but I understand esoteric Christianity, you know what I'm saying? So I reference the Bible a lot and all that good stuff. And there are branches of astrology that are backed and supported by Christianity, you know, and they use the Bible. And so within the christianed, you know what I'm saying, like Christos astrology, the Christian astrology, there's this perception and understanding that, like, within all things there is Christ energy. Within all astrological synchronizations there is a divine counterpart to it, meaning that there is no such thing as a negative in astrology. Everything is there to serve you for your highest good, and you're here to figure out how, you know what I'm saying, how to utilize that. And essentially, you know what I'm saying, all of the planets have their fall, right? Every single planet falls. The sun falls in Aquarius, you know, the moon falls in Capricorn, Mercury in Pisces, Venus in Virgo, Mars, etc. You know, Mars in Libra, etc., etc. So all the planets have the capacity to fall, you know what I'm saying? No planet is just 100% light and love, but it's like each planet is dark and light. So they're like this because it's divine. It's divinely like that, you know what I'm saying? And regardless of all the things that we see on Earth, there is still an overall divinity about this Earth plane, you know what I'm saying? An overall divinity about this Earth plane, the God that is within all things, you know what I'm saying? So before I even get into the birth chart reading, decoding, I wanted to cover that. Because we're about to talk about some things, you know what I'm saying, for sure. Because, like, you have your ascendant in Capricorn, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Okay, so first and foremost, and, like, the opposition is between Cancer and Capricorn, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I first wanted to disclose. The fact that every single thing is a positive. And some things, for the sake of your destiny and what you are being positioned and prepared for, you have to go through them, you know what I'm saying? And that's where Saturn, Mars, and Uranus come into play. They are the disruptors. They are the ones that make you go through things, but for a good cause. I had to cover that. Alright, so first and foremost, let's talk about your man, I'm intuitive, you know what I'm saying? Because, okay, you know how I was talking about the princess? You have your moon at 28 degrees Pisces. Pisces is correlated to Andromeda, which is the princess, you know what I'm saying, that selflessly sacrificed herself so she could protect her kingdom from Neptune's sea creatures, you know what I'm saying. So Pisces is the sign of self-sacrifice, is what I'm trying to say. And I think this is the beacon of self-sacrifice. When we dive deeper and you commission me to do your birth chart decoding, then I'll definitely be on it. You know what I'm saying? I'll study 100%. But this is just kind of a surface breakdown of it all. Yeah, so a lot of things have changed. I'm in a way better situation, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I kind of had to shift that, because I had to shift my focus, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm not going to be doing all of your birth chart. I don't think I even ever was going to do all of your birth chart. But yeah, okay, so you have a stellium. Before we talk about your Sun Mercury opposition, your Sun Uranus opposition, you know what I'm saying? I want to talk about your Sun Uranus opposition. First and foremost, the Sun and Uranus, these planets are associated with each other. They're connected. They're synchronized. You know what I'm saying? Like, here, I'm gonna show you something real quick. I'm gonna show you something real quick. So, I hope you're able to see that right there. Hold on. Yeah, that right there is the symbol for the Sun. You know what I'm saying? The circle, and so the circle signifies Saturn's boundary, and the dot in the middle of the Sun for the symbol signifies the spirit. And the Sun is kind of like that part of you that signifies your willpower and your individuality. It's the hero in you. It's your ability to save yourself out of any circumstance or condition through self-esteem, through self-belief, and through the awareness of what you're capable of. You know what I'm saying? The Sun is like a powerhouse, okay? So, yeah, the symbol for the Sun, right, as you've seen, is nothing more or less but a circle and a dot in the middle. Now, this is the symbol for Uranus, right there, you know what I'm saying, right there. That symbol right there with the circle, it looks like the Sun symbol, but the only differentiation is Uranus' symbol has an arrow pointing upward, you know what I'm saying? So, Uranus is like the higher exaltation of the ego. It's kind of the Christ, you know what I'm saying? Like, when we look into astrology, like, the Christ impulse is within Uranus. Like, Uranus is a very, very, like, spiritual planet, you know what I'm saying? Because, first and foremost, when we go into the domain of Uranus, we have passed the boundary which Saturn signified, you know what I'm saying? So, everything within Saturn, so, like, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Mercury, etc. These are all things that are ruled by the planet Saturn. You know what I'm saying? Anything beyond Saturn is not ruled by Saturn. And the thing is, Saturn is what holds the material element, the earthly element. You know what I'm saying? Saturn is the earth, really. When you get deeper into it and you learn that, wait a minute, not NASA means deception. So, you know, there is no solar system up there, but that's another story for another time. I don't even know how deep you get into these things. But anyways, so, yeah. The thing about Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto is their moons rotate like opposite to the moons of everything within Saturn's domain. You know what I'm saying? So Saturn's moons, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, Mars, Earth, they're all rotating this way, we will say. You know what I'm saying? But then once you go into Saturn, then they start going the opposite, which just signifies a regression, a backwards energy. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very, very deep. You know what I'm saying? So, first and foremost, you have Uranus in your 12th house. So, with you having Uranus in your 12th house, so one of the things I could talk about with Uranus is like the satellite. It's considered a satellite. And it's also considered a higher octave of Mercury. Mercury is the planet of logic, intellectualization, and rationality. You know what I'm saying? So Mercury, being the planet of logic, rationality, and intellectuality, this would mean that Uranus is a higher expression of those energies. You know what I'm saying? Like Uranus, a higher expression of those energies. So everything that deals with logic within Uranus is exalted and expounded. Uranus deals with originality, it deals with inventiveness, it deals with the downloading of knowledge and information. And so with you having Uranus in the 12th house is the house of spirituality, the house of psychic phenomena of all kinds. You know what I'm saying? It rules over psychic entities and beings that are disembodied but still exist within the spiritual plane. You know what I'm saying? These are all Saturnian, 12th house things. Now simultaneously, because this is the house of Pisces, and Pisces is a dualistic sign, it also deals with negative things like sorrow, baggage, and things like that. So being a sign of originality and uniqueness, this may be an indication that maybe you went through something very unique and different regarding you, that has, yeah, you went through something unique and different in the domain of like trial and tribulation or hardship and struggle, that may now play out as some form of imprisonment energy. Okay, so in the imprisonment energy, like, because Aquarius and Mars, my bad, because Uranus and Mars also have synchronicity to each other, right? If you look at the Mars symbol, Mars is just like an arrow with a circle, right? Which as Uranus is like a circle with an arrow, but it has a dot. That's the only differentiation between Mars and Uranus' symbol. Now, Uranus is like the rebel, right? It rebels, it pushes away. It can be the rebel with a cause, but sometimes it can be the rebel without a cause. Typically, when the sun opposes Uranus, this can just be a person who is at war and wanting to fight, but they don't clearly know what they're fighting for, you know what I'm saying? They just might feel this unease energy, like everybody's against them, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, like, yeah, to an extent, there are external forces, like windmills and things like that, that desire to test us and make us suffer. But a lot of the times, rather than trying to push against them, it's better to work on what we can do and what we have, you know what I'm saying? And that's the sun. That's the energy of the sun, you know, building our self-significance and self-worth and self-value, rather than continuously trying to go out and battle and go to war with things, you know what I'm saying? Like, Uranus being in this 12th house, this is an energy of a spiritual warfare, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like a continuous desire to break away from something that is spiritual. I mean, something that's happening in the spiritual plane. And this can even be like you having gone through something, you know what I'm saying? Typically, because you have it in Capricorn, something of a material kind, of a material nature, something that deals with restriction and resistance. Like, this placement can low-key be like someone who was like abducted, not abducted, but like kidnapped, you know what I'm saying? And then some sort of imprisonment. It doesn't have to be that deep, you know what I'm saying? And it's like now there's this desire to want to rebel and push against it, but it's like the sun is the ego and the exaltation of oneself, whereas Uranus is opposition and disrupting something and being original, you know what I'm saying? So the sun is like the king, you know what I'm saying? But then Uranus is like the leader who leads the rebellion, you know what I'm saying? So the leader ruling the rebellion is an authority themselves, but like they're not a king, you know what I'm saying? So it's like these two energies are opposed. So what you would typically want to do is unify these two energies together, you know what I'm saying? And the opposition is happening within your 6th house and your 12th house. So the conflict here is dealing with some form of like employment, work, labor, service, you know what I'm saying? These are all 6th house things. So, or it can also play out as health, you know what I'm saying? Because routine, health and routine. Because the thing about the 6th house is the house of maintenance. It deals with things that are boring, that a lot of us don't want to do, but we find ourselves having to do. So it's truly the most extreme balance between the lower and the higher realm, you know what I'm saying? Because the thing about the 6th house is it's Scorpio energy. I'm sorry, not Scorpio energy. The 6th house is Virgo energy. Being Virgo energy, though, it's connected to Hercules, you know what I'm saying? And the story of Hercules is perfect because Hercules has both the 6th house energy, because the 6th house is the house of labor, right? Hercules is known for his 12 labors. But it also has the 12th house energy because, you know, Zeus, the angels that are watching over Hercules. So it's 2 layers, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, in this physical world, your sun being in the 6th house, you're here to align yourself with some sort of service that deals with Cancerian energy, meaning the moon's energy. So this is like synchronizing with care, you know what I'm saying? And this can even low-key be like being a wife, you know what I'm saying, and being a stay-at-home mom or something, because that's very Cancerian, and that's a job in of itself that people don't talk about, you know what I'm saying. So boom. But then it's like being a stay-at-home mother and like taking care, like whatever service, it may be like a caregiver, you know what I'm saying, some sort of caregiver, like some sort of nurturing energy, like if not literally nurturing somebody else, you know, it can also play out as like psychologically, like being a counselor or being a therapist or something like that, you know what I'm saying, where you're like rendering harmony onto another person through caring and caring energy. But so it's like that's the 6th house. That's the 6th house. But then the 2nd house. But then the 12th house is the house of spirituality. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, the house of spirituality and the desire for transcendence and the desire to want to escape. The 12th house is like an imprisonment energy, where it's like it plays out through a desire to want to escape this prison that has been constructed by your own, typically your own mind, because like the 12th house is the house of like sorrows, things that are depressive from the past. You know, it's the house of baggage. It's like the things that we carry with us on our weight from our past that we low-key should learn to let go. So I love doing astrology for people, because what really excites me is the work that we get done after that. Like once I get you with your astrology set up, then I could put you on to mental alchemy, and this is where you start to learn things like, for example, amputation. You know what I'm saying? Like when our body, like certain body parts are a liability, what do? We technically amputate them, right? We get rid of them. Within our mind, right, we have certain thoughts that are liabilities, but we don't know about mental amputation, so we don't know how to cut them off and just let them go. And it sounds like an easy task, but when you have techniques and abilities, then, you know what I'm saying, then you'll be straight and you'll be good. But yeah, so pretty much this polarity, this opposition can even play out through an energy of like kind of triggering people, if that makes sense, because it's a continuous feeling of like I'm on a mission and I'm here to like free the masses, or I'm here to distribute truth or something, and it's a continual pushing of energy where it's like, which may create an environment where you may feel like, oh, is this person against me or not? But it's not really so much that the person's against you, but it's more so that there's an internal conflict that needs to be resolved, you know what I'm saying? And this is like a conflict that arises as a result of not realizing that there truly is no separation, you know what I'm saying, between you and an opposite. But these are all different dynamics and aspects of you that you need to learn to unify and integrate, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's important to learn, because like Uranus is all things different, opposing, you know what I'm saying, like alternative, unique, original. So it's important to realize and understand like the reality that there's a place for every single thing, you know what I'm saying? There's a place for there's a place for like the devil, and like a place for God, you know what I'm saying? There's a place for everything, and kind of learning to make peace with it. And rather than trying to resolve external circumstances and situations, starting to learn how to work internally within yourself and build and create a very beautiful, harmonious person. And through that, it's kind of like creating a better world by focusing on your world rather than focusing on helping change other people's world, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though that's a beautiful thing, typically it's not unrealistic, because like I said earlier, the earth holistically is divine, you know what I'm saying? It's perfect, it's just the way it's supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? But then the devil is in the details, so when we get caught up in the details, we see all these things, but it's like these are the intricate pieces that are building up a bigger system. So like the bigger system, you know, beyond the matrix, the bigger system is beautiful, you know what I'm saying? But it's beautiful, but it's the little picture, and there's a lot more to go into, you know what I'm saying, with all these things. But I'll just leave it like that. That was one thing that really caught my attention in my mind. But yeah, if you're interested though, I would love to decode your birth chart for you. I would highly recommend it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my clients in the past, they spent like $400 with me, you know what I'm saying? Just decoding their birth charts. Like, you don't have to spend all that money, but the reason why I say that is because if people are spending money like that, then you know it's legit and it's real and it can be beneficial. Now, this was like a freestyle, you know what I'm saying? I kind of just looked at the things in your birth chart and saw which was like significant and which wasn't. Everything is significant, of course, but just what popped out to me, and I talked about those things. But yeah, you have in Uranus oppose your sun. It's like of importance to learn to like bring stability and security within your it's more like integrating your uniqueness and originality with your identity. Not having two identities of like being on one hand like some form of like mother or caregiver, you know what I'm saying, who is required to work and labor, whether that and then having a whole completely different identity, you know what I'm saying, where you're like a spiritual person on a mission. But it's more so like learning to find the balance in the sense of like understanding that your spiritual work is even within your mundane things. Like so okay, looking at your chart, right, you have a stellium in the 7th house in Leo, which shows that relationships are a prominent thing for you. And with you having Jupiter in the 7th house, this shows you're probably blessed tremendous through your relationship. So looking at this chart, and then you have your moon in your 2nd house, which means you react and respond a lot to finances and money, you know what I'm saying? And you have your moon in Pisces in the 2nd house, which means financially you're probably just blessed and bestowed. So I wouldn't say that with you having your sun in the 6th house, it's some form of work, like literally a job, but I would say probably just some sort of service that you're still entangled and engaged into, you know what I'm saying? But it may not be so like spiritual. It may not be so spiritual, but it may be like just technical things like that get the job done, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll leave it at that though. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, definitely let me know if you're interested. My rates start at $30, but typically I recommend people doing the $60 sessions, you know what I'm saying, because those are 1 hour long. The $30 sessions are around $30, 30 minutes, you know what I'm saying. And yeah, however you want to invest, we'll definitely do that. But yeah, I look forward to talking to you and hearing from you. I hope that this resonated. Alright, peace.